And welcome to the BAFTAs special.
No, we're not going to open it like that.
Oh, really? I thought that was quite good. I thought that was almost Hollywood-esque. Yeah, I get my voice wasn't that good. Can I give it another go?
No.
Oh. Well, how would you open it then?
We were watching the BAFTAs and we decided we wanted to talk about it, so we're doing a podcast. Sorry this has popped up on your feed unannounced.
All right then. That was fair enough. That's very authentic and genuine. Oh, there's my notes. My notes have gone. Fallen away already. Yeah, and just for everyone, if you hear rustling of paper, it's the notes from the BAFTAs. Not the notes from the BAFTAs, because we weren't there. In fact, no one was there. What a segue. No one was there. Oh, there's a baby crying. Hang on, we'll be back in a minute.
Probably should have started again, but let's just carry on.
It was a very short introduction, a little interlude, and off we go again.
Let's go again. So, as you were saying, there was no audience in attendance, there were no nominees in attendance, no prize winners, and it was literally the host, Richard Ayoade, and a number of presenters.
Some who were there.
Some were there. Some were pre-taped or on Zoom or...
They kept mentioning Zoom. I thought it was interesting that they would mention a commercial. Like, it's a bit like saying Skype.
Yes.
It's an actual brand.
Yeah.
So they kept talking about Zoom, so I wondered whether they were like, that's what they were using.
I think Zoom has become a bit of a verb.
I think it's
like
Hoover.
Google. Hoover, yeah.
Yeah,
sellotape.
Escalator.
No?
No?
Escalator is a technology, not a company.
I thought it was a... There must be something to do with lifts then. And I'm sure I learnt that back in the old law school in my intellectual property class.
Well, you'll know more about this than me.
I know. I'll look that up.
That'll be in the notes of the podcast when Elaine corrects me.
No, it'll be in the notes of when we go to bed later and I go, let me just look up that thing about escalator. And you go, yeah, okay. And,
Tannoy.
Right. Are you now just going to shout brands at me?
Nope, just getting another one.
Okay. So yeah, some were there.
Yes.
And some were online.
Yeah. I think I need to just say something for the tape now, before we go ahead with this. I am not a fan of award shows, normally.
Okay, yeah, actually, this is right, because I love award shows.
Yes.
And when we first started going out, that's what I wanted to watch. And you were really hesitant and a bit, not grumpy, but a bit sort of like, I don't really care. Just put it on in the background and I'll sit and play on my laptop phone.
Yes. I don't think I need to watch a 2-hour programme or a 3-hour programme, or in the case of the Oscars, a 5-hour programme. Something that I could just look on Wikipedia and go, oh, that one.
But having said that, we did stay up all night to watch the Oscars.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it again, like...
Well, we wouldn't do it now.
No, I wouldn't do it.
Madness.
Yeah.
I mean, we could stay up. We're up anyway. But no, wouldn't do it now. So you're not a massive fan of awards.
And that is an understatement. Yeah. The awards shows, just because they're very self-congratulatory. And I don't really care about people's speeches. I mean, you see people's dresses. I don't really.
And I know that sounds really reductive, but I really do like seeing the makeup, the artistry, the creativity of a number of the dresses. And I'm not just talking about the women and what they wear. I love seeing what the men wear as well. So the whole of it's that artistic creativity that a lot of performers bring to the table, and they're also able to showcase other designers and designers that we may not have heard of. So I really like that aspect of award shows.
Yeah, and I think in this case, I was interested to see how it would work without an audience, without any nominees there, anything like that. And it was only 90 minutes, which, I mean, I would have fast-forwarded between a lot of the bump and the speeches and everything like that, but we watched it all because you like seeing people, apparently in their gardens.
What I really loved about it was you got to see people's houses. So, when will we ever see, Phoebe Waller-Bridge's back garden?
No, we didn't. We saw a wall in their houses, or like a bush in the back garden.
Some people what's the judge off Strictly Come Dancing, she had a beautiful like parasol outside, and I was really like, oh, look at her garden. I can't remember what she's called. The other judge is Motsi Mabuse.
Yeah.
And her styling of her, wherever she was, like a living room or a kitchen or wherever she was all gold and tans, and it was really classy. And so I got really into the interior design of people's houses. Shirley's the other judge. Yeah, she had a beautiful garden. Please stop looking at me like that. Come on, you were looking at Claudia Winkleman's bookcase.
Yeah, that's just a byproduct of lockdown, isn't it? Though, let's see what books they've put out there to seem intelligent.
And do you remember what she had on her bookcase that you found?
Yeah, Victoria Corrin's book. Yeah, which I'm quite happy about. Yeah.
And Jared Harris, I noticed when he popped up later on, he had
Spoilers.
No, he's one of the nominees. He's one of the nominees that every nominee is on. You're the one spoiling it by saying spoilers. His bookshelf had David Lean, like the guide to David Lean.
Yes.
And I've got to look this up because I wrote it down. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Success in film.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was a lot of that. There was a lot of something on film, something in film. But I thought success in film, that's an interesting one to have in your bookcase.
That's how you bag the big roles on Mad Men and Chernobyl. And what's that one that I watch? The sci-fi thing. The Expanse.
And he's in The Crown as well. He's George the Sixth in The Crown. Anyway, not a Jared Harris podcast. Can we talk about Richard Ayoade?
Yes.
Before we get into all of the nominations and who actually won?
Yeah.
What did you think of his hosting? Because I don't think he's hosted before.
I think he's perfect. I think he's brilliant for this. And it might not work with people in the room, but he was just the right amount of self-depreciating, deadpan, and best thing about this. Yeah. Absolutely the best thing about it.
I think him combined with a musical interlude from Tim Minchin, who was there at the beginning, both of them incredibly sardonic, both of them really taking the mick out of the whole situation of here we are in a pandemic, making sure that we self-congratulate, making sure that we give ourselves an award for doing well. Yeah. You know, and I love that about it. And also Richard Ayoade was doing what we did, which we've just done now, and talking about people's houses. Yes. I think at one point someone had like, was it Ruth off Gavin and Stacey? She had almost these like big purple, look like velvet curtains behind, and he had said something along the lines of, "You can come out of that photo booth now," which is just brilliant. And that's so quick as well, because he won't have seen everyone's backdrop. And the fact that he was pointing out, like you did, some people just a blank wall, just a magnolia wall, and that's it. You know, nice of you to make an effort with the backdrop. So I thought he was wonderful. I'd really like to see him doing the normal, in inverted commas, event.
Yes.
I think he'd be brilliant.
Absolutely.
And I think he would really keep the audience on side.
Yeah.
So how are we going to do this? Are we just going to run through some of the nominations?
Yeah, let's not do everything.
The award winners. We're not going to do everything.
I don't think we've necessarily got a lot of insight in a lot of these, because as I found out, I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch as much TV as I think I do.
You know what? I was thinking about this past year, which is when this award show is covering, isn't it?
Yes.
This past year has clearly been a difficult year for us for so many reasons. But main part, when all of these shows were coming out in the summer, we were in the hospital. We were either just about to lose our eldest child, or our eldest child had died, and we were waiting for the second one to take a similar turn, because that was what we were warned was going to happen, and a complete roller coaster ride with that. So watching fun things on telly was not at the forefront of our mind, and there's a couple of shows that we're going to talk about later on tonight that I started but could not finish because I found them to be too difficult to finish given our circumstances at that point in our lives. Okay. I think we now watch so much more because we were ticking off things that we had seen on there, and there wasn't that many. I think next year's BAFTAs, if we're still doing this next year,
I'll be doing it.
Yeah. Next year's BAFTAs, I think, will be a completely different kettle of fish for us. I think we could be ticking off much more.
Okay.
So that I see where you're coming from with that. I think last year was a bit of a weird year for us, and understatement of the century.
Yes.
Right. Shall we get on with it?
So I think the first one we're going to cover is best entertainment performance.
Let me get my notes. Rustling of notes. Yes. So best entertainment performance. The two people from Normal People presenting in the flesh. So Paul Mescal and Daisy. Oh, I can't remember her name.
Dukes.
My eyes have rolled.
Ridley.
No. Is it like Edgar Jones?
Yes, Daisy Edgar Jones.
Is it Daisy Edgar Jones?
Yes.
Right, okay. Right. So, the nominees were... Are you going to go, or do you want me to do it?
I'll let you do it.
Okay.
We'll do alternate ones.
Okay. The nominees were Graham Norton for The Graham Norton Show, Frankie Boyle for New World Order, Lee Mack for Would I Lie to You? ? And Mo Gilligan for... Is it The Latest Show with Mo Gilligan? My
That's
notes
right,
are not
yes.
particularly brilliant, and you've got the tablet out.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
And the winner was...
Mo Gilligan, who, as ashamed to say, I've never heard of.
Yeah, and I think it might be because his show's called The Latest Show, and we don't stay up past 8 o'clock. So I think we've just completely missed out on this. But equally, like Frankie Boyle, New World Order.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Knew the Graham Norton Show, and we've been to see Lee Mack.
We have.
In the
we
flesh.
have, yes.
So, yeah.
It aired Friday nights at 10 p.m for 6 episodes on the 19th of July 2019. So, yeah, right in hospital season.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So that's why.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't really do a lot of insight on this, can we?
Not really, but I really liked his speech. He seemed a really nice guy, and I liked the way that he talked about how it was really important for people who looked and sounded like him to be represented. So, yeah.
We might as well touch on this here, because I think last year there was a lot of criticism that the winners were very, very white, whereas this year it seems they have made an effort to nominate and, spoilers for things ahead, give awards to people of colour, certainly in some shocks. So I think there has been I think probably the recent events have probably been in people's minds when they've been voting. I just hope that going forwards this is the case, because we all remember Oscars 2002 where they decided to give Halle Berry and Denzel Washington the awards, and then back next year it was back to the same. So I have a lot of faith in the British Academy, but...
I wonder whether they have mixed up their panels, because... like the jury panels, because Sian Clifford later on talked about being on a jury, and Sian Clifford's from Fleabag, and she talked about being on a jury for the first time. And I wonder if there are just a few more first-time jurors who are looking at things with more diversity and making sure that they are including people who maybe years ago others would not look at, or would just go for the same. I think that's the problem. It's just going for the same drama programs, same performers over and over again, and not spreading their net widely.
Okay. Next one that we're going to cover is the entertainment programme.
And the nominees were...
The Voice UK, The Rap Game UK, The Greatest Dancer, and Strictly Come Dancing.
And I shouted, Strictly Come Dancing for the win, and Strictly Come Dancing indeed did win.
I mean, it wasn't a stellar year for Strictly Come Dancing.
No, it wasn't.
But when The Voice is one of the things nominated, and I'd not seen much of The Greatest Dancer, I have to admit, but what I did see did really interest me. It's probably a tap in for them, but... Yeah,
I think it... Yeah. No, I didn't see The Rap Game. I hadn't heard of it, but it looked really good.
Yeah, it did actually. Yeah.
I was like, because they were having like rap battles.
Yeah.
And the guy who was on was just amazing, and the other people in the room were a bit like, right, I don't think I can follow him. So that looked really good. It might have been again hospital season for us where we missed out on it, but we'll keep an eye out for that one in the future. That was when Claudia Winkleman came on with her bookcase.
Yes.
Her Victoria Coren Mitchell enthralling bookcase. Next.
So, best comedy and comedy entertainment programme.
Okay, I might have to move my notes about... Oh, there it is. Yep. And the nominees were... I can't read my writing.
Do you want me to do them?
Yes, please.
The Ranganation.
Oh, yeah, I've got that.
The Last Leg.
Yeah.
The Graham Norton Show. And Taskmaster.
And I said, when these were all read out properly on the show by professionals, I went, never heard of that Taskmaster.
You must have done. Because it's your favourite.
I know that.
Elaine really loves Greg Davies.
I love tall men. Of large, tall men. Is that all right to say? I like substantive men. And Greg Davies ticks all those boxes.
I mean...
Broad.
Stop, yeah, just stop saying things. But
I do. I like a tall man of substantive character. And Greg Davies is absolutely that man.
I've never seen it. It's a Dave show.
Why were they hitting someone on the head when he was in a wheelie bin?
I don't know.
Like, it was David Baddiel. I love David Baddiel, but he was hitting someone who was hiding in a wheelie bin on the head with a pan. And that's what puts me off that show. Greg Davies or not. Anyway, it won.
It won.
I don't think I have much to give on that because like I say, these programs are really like we talked about The Last Leg a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Alex Brooker's documentary about disability, and we said we'd like to watch it more than we do, but it's on so late. It's probably on at like 9,
if that.
That we just don't watch it. Okay, so what's next?
Best scripted comedy.
Okay, hang on, I've got to turn my notes over. Scripted comedy. Okay, so are you doing the nominees?
Well, I've done them all so far, but yeah,
sorry,
because you couldn't read the last one.
Right, okay, I can read this one now. So the nominees were Derry Girls. I like doing the voice. Let me do the voice. Derry Girls. Now I always want to call it Stath Lets Flats, but it's Stath Lets Flats.
Yes.
And I find that difficult to say. Fleabag and Catastrophe.
So going into this, I thought this was the Fleabag Best Scripted Comedy Award.
That's what I thought.
And it didn't get it.
No. The Stath Lets Flats.
Which, up until tonight, I had never heard of.
I'd heard of it, but it just didn't seem to be very... I thought it sounds awful, but it's one of those things I looked at and I just thought, that doesn't look very good. But now I think we might have to watch it. And also, like, Derry Girls, people have been going on about Derry Girls.
Yes.
For months, like, the cast of Derry Girls have become really popular on social media and they've turned up in loads of different places, and it seems to be something that people are really, really behind and they love the characters. Again, we've not watched it, but if Fleabag didn't get it, I thought Derry Girls would.
And then Catastrophe, it was its last season, which always makes people more inclined to vote for it, I find.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a lot of people, I don't know whether they're weighted voting, but if Derry Girls and Fleabag split the vote, and Stath Lets Flats was a lot of people's second choice, sort of, and that sometimes happens in awards where you think, oh, well, the best thing was Fleabag or straight Derry Girls, but my second choice, I really enjoyed that, so let's put it up so that it gives it some recognition.
I love we have this magical insight into how the BAFTAs might be voting when we have absolutely no clue.
And that's how they account for a lot of shocks in the Oscars.
But the Oscars, it's a load of people putting their votes in, whereas this seemed to be juries.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than, stick your tick next to a box. So, yeah, I'm not saying that you're wrong.
You are?
I'm not.
No, that's exactly what you're saying.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying, I'm just laughing at the fact that we are going into in such detail how BAFTA does things when we actually don't have a clue.
Well, I mean, we've covered 4 awards where we've only seen one of the winners so far.
True.
So
this is insightful commentary. What's next?
No, but that's good. So, Stath Lets Flats is a comedy starring Jason Demetriou.
Now, was he in Fleabag?
Yes, he was.
Was he the guy with the teeth in
Yes,
Fleabag?
that's
right.
exactly
I thought I recognised him.
I'm going to watch this week.
Okay.
Certainly a couple of episodes because it's all on All 4, and that might be
Channel 4.
It's Channel 4, yeah.
Right, I had a feeling it was BBC for some reason.
Okay.
I thought it was I thought it was a BBC 3 iPlayer type show, so that's clearly where I'm completely wrong.
Yeah, no,
Not for the first time.
no. So I'm gonna watch that this week. I don't know if you're bothered about it or.
Well, I might, given that this is, got the award.
Yeah, I think we'll report back next week on the main show.
Yeah.
Main show.
The main show.
Like we got a spin-off now.
I know.
Oh god. So best female comedy performance.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, you're doing this one.
No. This is what happens when you have a tablet with all the notes on properly put into order, and I've just got scraps of paper from the actual thing. So, is it female performance in comedy?
Yes.
So, back to Fleabag. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Sian Clifford, Bemisola Ikumelo, and Sarah Kendall. And the winner was Sian Clifford.
In somewhat of a shock again.
Yeah, I mean, she was shocked. She has a lovely garden.
Yeah. She also, does someone on the jury have something against Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
I don't know whether Phoebe Waller-Bridge has had so many accolades in the past that they are now looking to give awards to other people. And Sian Clifford in Fleabag is absolutely Phoebe Waller-Bridge's equivalent.
Oh, I'd agree.
She keeps getting sort of supporting actress for nominations, but I'm not quite sure how. Yes, she is supporting. Yes, Fleabag is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but she is there a lot of the time, and she is giving. We get as much of her story as we do Fleabag's story.
Yes, I'm not sure that's the case.
I think she has some major moments. Hair is everything. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
I have no recollection of that quote.
It's a meme now. It's a meme, or a meme, as some people call it. It's a proper meme because women, like in particular, women just grabbed hold of that when she has a really bad haircut and the hairdresser says it's just hair, and they're like, no, hair is everything. Like, it's the difference between a good day and a bad day. And it totally is.
What a weird way to kick me when I'm down. It's not a problem I've had for a little while.
But you're able to deal with your hair. Like, you just shave it off and there you go. And it would be the equivalent of, what if you had to let it grow and it grew out in funny ways?
I did for a long time before I fixed up and shaved it. It was crap
but
then.
You might not feel particularly good about yourself. And that's what they're trying to say. So yeah, she gets some major moments in the show. So I'm really pleased for her. And she was totally, like, blown away.
Yeah, and all 4 nominees BBC Three shows.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, Fleabag. Although, it did start on BBC Three and then moved across. It was shown on BBC Two.
Yeah.
Frayed, Sarah Kendall for Frayed.
I haven't heard of Frayed. Had you?
No.
I don't know Sarah Kendall, to my shame.
And then Famalam.
Yeah, which I think I'd heard of.
I don't think I have.
Okay,
but, yeah.
I think I'd heard of it more than Frayed.
It's this insight, isn't it?
Tell me about it.
Best male comedy performance.
Okay.
So we have Youssef Kakur from Home, Shuti Gatwa from Sex Education, Guz Khan from Man Like Mobeen, and Jason Demetriou from Statlet's Flats.
Is he called Jason?
Jamie Demetriou. Jason Demetriou is a footballer, I think.
On this one, I was really, really rooting for Shuti Gatwa from Sex Education because he is one of the best things in that show. We've talked about Sex Education before on the main show. And we've talked about our love for Sex Education, particularly Series 2.
Yes.
His character... What's his character's name?
Eric.
His character gets a really lovely, like, a journey, a really lovely arc.
Yes.
Exploring his sexuality further in season 2, getting a boyfriend and falling in love and sort of working all of that out. And he has a beautiful performance. It is so nuanced, and you just love Eric. And his family as well, and how his family support him. And I just love him. And he is a brilliant comedic performer. You kind of want him to come in your house and cheer you up, Eric.
Absolutely.
So I was really rooting for him, and he didn't win.
No, Jamie Demetriou for Statlet's Flats.
So something's going on with that show then.
Yeah, that's why I'm really keen to watch it.
I am too. I think once he won for the performance, particularly against Shuti, who like I know him, Shooty, who we know out of all of the nominees the most.
Yes.
I thought, okay, this is interesting, because I thought he was a shoo-in.
You want to go next?
What is next? Because once again,
Your notes are going well, aren't they?
My notes are really going well.
Best reality and constructed factual.
Yeah. So, just before we get onto the nominees, can we have a little bit of a chat about Jeff Goldblum? Because Jeff Goldblum had recorded a little bit of blurb to introduce the nominees for reality and constructed factual.
So he wore some semi-mirrored glasses.
Yes.
And you could see the notes on them.
You could see the large white paper that he was holding beneath, sort of like just beneath eyeline. Yeah. Every now and again, it kind of came up as well, like onto the. And then you could also see the person who was holding the camera.
Yes.
Yeah. It was not the best of the sort of the introductions. Anyway,
it's chaos theory in action.
So we've got Celebrity Gogglebox. I'm looking at my notes because, again, I can't read my writing. Harry's Heroes, the Full English. Race Across the World. I had originally written that down as Race Against the World. So that's how I'm feeling fun right now. And RuPaul's Drag Race UK.
So I've seen none of this.
Okay, so I have seen RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay.
Although I did not think it would win. I thought one of the constructed factuals would win. I thought it would be the Harry's Heroes, because my understanding is that it's ex-professional football players who have maybe got out of shape and sort of getting them back into shape.
Race Across the World is something which I've heard really good things about.
Okay.
And
You keep asking me to watch that.
Yes.
And I've not done it.
So it's Elaine's fault I've not seen it. Yeah.
And then it won.
Yes.
So we might have to watch it now.
It's on iPlayer, so let's give it a go this week. Just when we sit around going, what should we watch? And we put on repeats of Friends with the sound down and just play on our laptops. Let's pop on an episode.
Okay, we'll give it a go. What's next on the list?
Best miniseries.
Best miniseries.
I'll go through them.
Thank you, because I'm just looking for my notes again.
We have A Confession.
Oh, yeah.
The Victim.
Yeah.
Chernobyl.
Yes.
And The Virtues.
Okay, so I've seen 3 of those, so I was pleased.
Good, because I've seen 0.
I've
seen 1 episode of Chernobyl.
Right.
Which one?
Yes, and I think Chernobyl again was an absolute shoe-in to win.
Yeah, well, I thought Fleabag was, but
yeah, but Chernobyl's won so many awards in so many different genres of award ceremony.
And that's the reason you said Fleabag possibly didn't win.
Oh, okay. I'm very contradictory this evening then.
Apparently so, but
But yeah, I did think it would sweep the board.
So you haven't watched Chernobyl?
I have. I think I've watched 3/4.
Okay.
I got 3/4 of the way through, and then hospital season, as you're calling it, happened for us, and I couldn't bear to watch more death and destruction on the TV, so I had to stop, because Chernobyl is a harrowing show.
Okay.
And I mean harrowing. There is death every 5 minutes, and it's horrible death, because it's what happened. People died in horrible circumstances when that reactor blew up.
I've watched the first episode maybe 3 times. Mm-hmm. I just can't get past it, and I think part of it is the fact that they've all got Yorkshire accents.
Not all of them.
A lot of them have.
Stellan Skarsgård doesn't have a Yorkshire accent.
No, but if I say the guy from Uncle, no one will know what I mean. But yeah.
Jared Harris doesn't have a Yorkshire accent. But
he doesn't have a Ukrainian one.
Yeah. They are using their own accents.
Yeah.
Which I quite like that, rather than people putting on sort of like a fake accent. Why not just use your own, and because you're portraying the person, not the accent of the person.
I mean, Kevin Costner agrees with you, as does Mel Gibson, but...
Well, yeah, I quite like that. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I will watch Chernobyl. We've still got it sat on our Sky Q box.
You will need to be in a particular mood to watch it.
It's not one for with Blake.
Find find some time to yourself and maybe just do it in sections, because I found it really wore me down because it's real.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really liked about the winner's speech from, I think it was one of the producers, she was saying that it was really important. It was a really important show because of the need for transparency.
Yes.
Can't speak. In our political system, because this was a cover-up, and this programme was showing how it was covered up and the consequences of a cover-up.
Okay. So, since we've actually got some insight on these ones, a confession, the victim, and the virtues. You've not seen the virtues, have you?
No, I haven't seen the virtues. That's a Stephen Graham vehicle, and it's the guy behind...
Shane Meadows.
Yeah, This Is England, yeah.
A confession and the victim. Would you recommend them to people?
There were two things I remember about A Confession, one of which blew your mind when it came up on the screen, when the revelation came up on the screen.
Yes.
The first thing is that it's Tim from The Office. Who's Tim from The Office?
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman is a policeman, which did not sit right with me. He just didn't quite have the policeman-esque vibe when I watched it.
Okay.
But he's a policeman, because this is based on real life crime. The policeman who was looking for the killer of Sean O'Callaghan is what I can remember. I know it's terrible that I can't remember because it's real crime, but that's my recollection of it. And he's looking for the killer, and he thinks that the killer is a guy called Christopher Halliwell, which turns out he is.
Yeah. And
he is trying to get the confession from him. Now, Christopher Halliwell in the show is played by old EastEnders
Joe Absalom.
Yeah.
That's a name I've not heard for a while.
Yeah, you just looked at him because I think he was all dressed up and he had a glass of wine or something on the old Zoom.
Yes.
And it was like, that's Joe Absalom, yeah. So obviously he has to play a very creepy character, but also, if you don't know the story, someone who some people might think, oh, there's nothing wrong with him. And Martin Freeman has to sort of try and persuade you that he's lying, he's not telling the truth, and actually has been involved in murder. So it was fine. I didn't particularly remember it.
Okay.
I was surprised to see it up there, but yeah.
And apparently he's in Doc Martin.
Oh, okay.
Or has been.
Okay.
That's what he's been doing all this time. 15 years in Doc Martin.
I remember the victim.
Moving on.
Yeah, sorry. I remember the victim much more because that was a show that had clearly taken inspiration from the murder of James Bulger. So the TV show concentrated on the mother and her feelings towards the killer of her child, who was the killer being also someone who was very young at the time that the killing took place. And it was her saying, I can't forgive this person. They're going to be out of prison soon. They will have anonymity. I don't think they should have anonymity. I could bump into him at the end of the street. And her trying to find him, trying to find this person who would now be an adult.
Oh,
and
okay.
it had really, really complex but fascinating themes. Redemption and criminal procedure. So yeah, I found that really quite affecting at the time.
Would you recommend them both?
Probably not a confession, to be honest with you. I didn't really remember it. The Victim, yes, I think for all the things that I've said, it would be an interesting watch. But Chernobyl, clearly, it absolutely was the winner there in my mind.
Best drama series. So we've got Gentleman Jack, The Crown,
Yay!
Giri Hadji, and The End of the In World.
Yes, well done.
So I've not seen any of these.
You've not seen any one of them?
No.
Well, okay, so I've seen The Crown. So I don't know why I'm going, you've not seen any of them? Yeah, I've seen The Crown, and it would be like the latest version of The Crown with Olivia Colman. I thought The Crown would win.
Yeah, and the winner in the end was The End of the In World.
Which, yeah, again...
Which I've heard really good things about,
yeah.
but I thought it was a bit fluff. I assumed it was a bit of fluff. I might just check this out. Maybe not this week, but it's been bumped up my queue for something to watch, like in between something. Maybe.
Yeah. Really interesting how the things that would have won maybe a couple of years ago. You know, The Crown, a Netflix drama of many years standing, talking about royalty.
Yeah.
You know, you're ticking all the boxes there, and you know what? The Crown is really good. I've just recommended it to your parents this weekend as something to watch on Netflix. I think it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I love the way that each episode looks at a particular event in history. I think it's really good for, you know, if you like your history, if you like that sort of thing. It's taught me a lot. I mean, some of it, you know, you don't know where the truth lies, really, do you? Because it's drama, but it's taught me a lot about, especially all the prime ministers. I now know much more about the prime ministers of sort of the 50s, 60s.
No, because that's not true, because when watching Pointless, you always turned around and say, oh, it's the guy off The Crown. Yeah, and you never can remember them.
Anthony Eden.
After him comes...
I don't know. Harold Macmillan. He's in there somewhere.
I know
he is. I know he is because in the clip of The Crown that they showed, they had Olivia Colman listing the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
So she was like, Macmillan wouldn't have done this to me.
Churchill
wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
So, Best Supporting Actress, Naomi Ackie for The End of the World.
Yeah.
Helen Behan for The Virtues.
Yes.
Helena Bonham Carter for The Crown. And Jasmine Jobson for Top Boy.
Okay. Can I say that as much as I love The Crown, I did not feel that Helena Bonham Carter was a standout performance in it.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised to see her in there, to be honest with you.
Is it just Helena Bonham Carter
playing Princess Margaret?
Yeah, but is it just the fact that Helena Bonham Carter's done TV will get her nominated?
Well, I hope not. And I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad performance by any stretch of the imagination. It's Helena Bonham Carter, you know. I love Helena Bonham Carter, and I've watched her since she was in Lady Jane, you know, in the old period drama. I think she was about 15 when she did that as well. You know, all the way through her career. I think she's a beautiful actress, and I think she's an incredible woman. But I didn't feel that her Princess Margaret did anything more than your Olivia Colman's Queen, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Naomi Ackie won.
Yes.
Another tick in the box for The End of the World.
And I know Naomi Ackie from Star Wars because she plays the lady who's on a horse in. It's not The Last Jedi. I always think that's the last Star Wars film, The Rise of Skywalker. They go to the planet, and she's on a horse. Am I remembering that right?
I mean, I don't remember a horse being involved.
And then she was on a boat at another point in time as well.
I remember that she ends up, spoilers for Rise of Skywalker. No? The Last Skywalker.
No, it is The Rise of Skywalker, because it's The Last Jedi, and then it's The Rise of Skywalker.
It's all messed me up because that thing's been going around this weekend of every Star Wars film's got the wrong name.
Yeah, well, it does.
Have you seen that video?
No, but I know that it does before I've even seen the video. Ewoks.
Yeah, she's the one that ends up with Lando Calrissian going around the galaxy.
Oh, yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, so, good for her.
Yes.
I'm pleased for her.
So, she won against... I mean, that's a hell of a cast to go against. But, fair enough.
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actor. Will Sharp for Giri Hadji.
Okay.
Joe Absalom. Yay. For EastEnders. No, for A Confession.
He was very good in EastEnders.
Didn't he murder Saskia?
Oh, I can't remember what he did.
He was knocking around with Spandau Ballet.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, that was the point. Because it was when...
Oh, of course, he was like his little apprentice, wasn't he?
Yeah. And Saskia got killed by...
Your knowledge of EastEnders is phenomenal.
Only EastEnders in 1998.
What were you doing? Oh, I don't want to know. I don't know what... let's not say what you were doing in 1998.
With an ashtray. Josh O'Connor from The Crown.
Yay!
And Stellan Skarsgård in Chernobyl.
Okay.
So, as is the theme, I've seen none of these things. I have seen Josh O'Connor in something. And it's a film that I'm going to look up. And he was very good in it. And the name of that film is Only You. Where he's in a relationship with... Leila Costa, who's a Spanish lady who is quite a bit older than him. It's actually pretty decent. It's worth checking out.
He's been in another film that has got a lot of plaudit. Does it have the word country in it?
God's Own Country.
That's it. Yeah. So in The Crown, he plays a completely different character. Because he's playing Prince. He said Prince Albert. That's going back a bit. He's playing the young Prince Charles, and it's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful portrayal of a man that's full of rage, a man that wants to do more than he's allowed. This quiet, introspective man who wants to make his mark on the world, and yet is... Why are you pursing your lips?
I want to make a joke. We all know what Prince Charles wants to do. from his phone calls. And
let's not go there. I'm trying to make a really lovely point.
Sorry,
about
I
the
have
acting of Josh
completely
O'Connor.
cut you off there.
Yes. So let's move on. Who won?
Will Sharp for
Will
Giri
Sharp.
Hadji. I've not seen Giri Hadji.
No, it was on during hospital season because I remember coming home and thinking I should be watching this. It is getting loads of really good reviews and it's propped up a lot on the BAFTAs tonight. I don't know if I've got time in my brain to fit it in, but I feel I should.
What's it about?
I have no idea.
Okay. I thought it had someone in, but it doesn't. So.
Yeah, doesn't it have...
Oh, it's got Kelly MacDonald in.
That's exactly who I was going to say. It's got Kelly MacDonald in.
It's got Justin Long in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
It's a fabulous cast.
For some reason, I thought it had him from Westworld in. The baddie, the son. The Man in Black's brother-in-law. I want to say Logan Lerman, which it isn't.
No, but his
name is Logan in the...
People are screaming now.
I don't think...
Ben
His
Barnes.
name's
Ben, yes.
No one's still listening to this. Everyone's
so
switched
thought
off.
Ben Barnes was in Giri Hadji, but
Yeah.
it isn't. So
No.
let's move on.
Yes.
So we've done supporting actor. Oh, that's another thing. Just in my notes, I'm going to make use of my notes because I made such good ones. He was the only person who had done a pre-recording, Will Sharp, when he accepted his award speech, and I thought he was so humble in it because he said, whether this video clip sees the light, I actually wrote it down, whether this video clip sees the light of day or not, I just want to thank everyone who's been involved in sort of helping me. So it wasn't that sort of like, we're talking about self-congratulatory, it was, I'm recording this in my room by myself.
Yeah.
Not knowing if I'm going to win and pretending that I've won. And this may never... This is just going to go in a bin somewhere.
Because one thing that Richard Ayoade revealed is a lot of people had recorded speeches not knowing if they were going to be used or not, if they weren't available for Zoom at the time.
Yeah.
And he's the one person that made reference to it, which I thought was quite nice.
I thought it was just a really nice way of putting it. It's like, and also... You could see he just wasn't expecting to win.
No.
He was just like, look, I don't think anyone's ever going to see this, but if they do, this is who I want to thank, and I really like that. So have we done what we've done? Supporting actor?
Supporting actor.
What's next?
So next is Best Actor.
Ooh, Best Actor.
We're getting to the big boys now.
I know.
Jared Harris in Chernobyl.
Spoiler alert.
Takahiro Hira in Giri Hadji.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Graham in The Virtues, and Callum Turner in The Capture. I've not seen The Capture.
I have. I thought it was dreadful.
Oh, well, that's one for the poster.
Yeah. No, I really... And it had...
Holiday Granger.
Who I love.
You're going to edit that so you remember a name, so it looks like you remember a name, aren't you?
Yes, I am, Mark. I'm not going to put in the bit where I go, and it's got... Who's it got in it? Because we've just done that with Ben Barnes for 3 hours. So yes, Holiday Granger, just looked it up. Because I love her. I think she's amazing. And... I thought this would be really interesting. It's all about the use of CCTV and how it can be doctored. But
okay.
I did not like this show at all. I got really bored by it. I made myself watch it to the end. I thought it was a bit of a throwaway piece of fluff. I was surprised that he was nominated. Not that I would not want anyone to be nominated, but a bit like Helena Bonham Carter and Princess Margaret, I was a bit surprised to see him there.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Jared Harris won in the end.
Yeah.
I think that's predictable. He's very good in most things, and I think he was a little bit self-depreciating about how I think he must have been nominated a few times and not won.
Yes. Do you think for Mad Men and things like that?
Well, no, because Mad Men's not British, so...
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Again, great insight into the BAFTAs here from Gregerson. But yeah, he was interesting. I like the fact that he gave you a little bit of insight into the casting process, where apparently on day one the producer came up and said, Jared, just like, hope you don't mind, but I'm going to let you know that you were not the first choice to play this role. We wanted Daniel Day-Lewis, but he's just retired from acting.
Yes.
So, and then he was able to say, and Daniel, we want to see you back on our screen soon. And it was nice. It was a nice thing. And actually, I can't imagine Daniel Day-Lewis in that role now.
Okay.
So I know you haven't watched more than the first episode, but if you go back to it and you have a look, I don't think Daniel Day-Lewis would be right for that role, actually.
Well, he doesn't really appear in the first episode, does he? Apart from the prologue.
Yeah, but you get to see his story all the way through, and I think Jared Harris has enough of that sort of hangdog, world weary, chain smoking, man with the weight of the world on his shoulders look about him to really carry off that particular performance. So yeah, I was pleased.
Okay.
And so we are now on to the final of the sort of the usual awards, which is leading actress. So we have got... I can't read my notes.
Saran Jones for Gentleman Jack.
Thank you.
Jodie Comer for Killing Eve.
Samantha Morton for I Am Kirsty. Can read that one.
And Glenda Jackson for Elizabeth is Missing. And all day, you were saying to me yesterday, I hope Glenda Jackson wins. I hope Glenda Jackson wins. I hope Glenda Jackson wins for Elizabeth is Missing. And I quite poignantly said, what the hell is Elizabeth is Missing?
Which,
maybe not that eloquently.
Yeah. Elizabeth is Missing. Out of all the things that we've talked about tonight, all the shows that we've talked about, things that we've seen, lots of things that we haven't seen, Elizabeth is Missing. If I could recommend anything, it's that show. It is the most beautiful drama. It's about a lady who has dementia, played by Glenda Jackson. So she has moments of lucidity and moments where she has clearly forgotten a number of things. You can see in her house she's got post-it notes up on her kitchen, on your cabinets and things to remind her of things. And as an audience, we don't know if she's telling us the truth, in inverted commas. Not that she's wanting to lie, but we don't know whether she's remembering things right or if she is misremembering. So all the way through, you're wondering where her friend Elizabeth is,
Yes.
Elizabeth is missing. And she said, Elizabeth is missing. And that's one of the things I really remember from the performances, her trying with the vocal performance where she's really, when you're really trying to get someone to believe you and you know that they don't.
Yes.
And you know that they think that you're a bit mad and you're trying to say, no, this is... I can see it in your face. You don't believe me, but I need to say this. And it's a really, like I say, a vocal performance where I can hear her now, even though I haven't watched this show for absolutely ages. It was on quite a while ago. I can hear her saying, Elizabeth is missing. And that's what stayed with me with that performance. The show actually goes into other things. So it's not just about Elizabeth being missing, in inverted commas.
Yes.
I don't want to talk too much about it because I knew nothing going into it other than this basic premise that I've just talked about. And I loved it. I loved where it went. I really, really recommend this show.
Okay, so I've just been looking this up just to see exactly how you can find it. Mm-hmm. It's available on Acorn TV now.
What?
Yeah.
Was it a BBC?
Yeah, it's BBC.
What? Like, why is it not out there?
I don't know.
Oh, it's so annoying.
You can...
It should just be on iPlayer, surely.
No, it's not. It's on... So you can get Acorn TV through Amazon Prime with an extra charge. So it's a £5 a month, but you can get a 30-day free trial. I've just looked up.
But why make it that difficult to see something?
Well, they probably didn't anticipate this winning the BAFTA and
and I'm so pleased Glenda Jackson won because it's a wonderful performance. And I'm not taking anything away from the other actresses in the category, which I'm sure were all fabulous, but it was the one in my heart that I wanted to win.
I mean, Jodie Comer, Saran Jones and Samantha Morton are BAFTA favourites anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah. Their careers are not petering on the edge of a cliff based on this nomination.
Absolutely. So I love Glenda Jackson as a performer anyway. I remember her from the 70s. Obviously, I wasn't born in the 70s, but in the 70s, she played Elizabeth I in Elizabeth R, which was a big BBC production at the time.
Yeah. And
she was fabulous. And she played her from being a teenager until her death. And yeah, I've always loved her as an actress.
Finally, we've got the special award.
Yes. Is this meant to be like the Lifetime Achievement, but they've changed the name because they don't want to wait until people have got to late on in life?
I don't know. But yeah, I think it's very much often people who are behind the camera rather than in front of it.
Like directors. And
producers, people like that. But yeah, I'm really surprised that Idris Elba won.
And do you think that the special award, as it's now done, is not just for acting? Because they specifically pointed to his role in increasing diversity in the in TV.
Yes.
So I think it's rather than wait until you get to the end of your career and then we give you a pat on the back, it's more, what are you doing now? What are you doing currently? What have you done? And what I really liked about it was usually you just get the person's friend coming up on stage and telling you how wonderful they are. But because of the circumstances that we're in, we had lots of clips from all the different people that he's worked with.
Yes.
It's a bit like This Is Your Life, but not that long. With your friends all popping up saying, oh, he's really helped me in this part of my career, or I've had a really good laugh with him and this, but and then he was just, like I said, a bit self-deprecating again, wasn't he? And just sort of had his camera on the table and just went, oh, thanks so much for this. It's great to get it.
He's also never won a BAFTA.
Oh,
which it takes some doing.
Wow. I thought he would have won for Lufa.
No, he was nominated in 2016, so it might just be a case of how can we give him a BAFTA?
Yeah, we need to give him something, absolutely.
Nice
guy. So, and then not after the special award in the show, but it was sort of like trickled throughout the show. There was this idea of the public voting for must-see moment. They'd clearly already voted because they weren't putting up any telephone lines or anything like that. So the must-see moments of the year apparently were the Night King, spoiler alert for Game of Thrones, being defeated in Game of Thrones. Yeah, or spoiler alerts for all of these, to be quite honest with you, because these are all like denouements of shows. So the proposal in the Gavin and Stacey special, the Christmas special.
Yeah.
I'm trying again, cannot read my writing.
Honey.
Oh, Coronation Street. I thought it just said something different. I'm not going to read out what I thought it said. So, Corrie, Death of Sinead.
I didn't know there was a character called Sinead.
Apparently she's been in it for 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, Fleabag, the confessional scene between Fleabag and the priest. Hot Priest. Yeah, which I thought would win. Line of Duty. Again, I'm not going to say the character, but a major character's death in Line of Duty. And Love Island, my personal favourite. Michael recouples after Casa Amor. And that totally brought back last year, because when we were in the hospital, we were in temporary accommodation just after the boys were born. It was right next door to the hospital. It was like an old doctor's accommodation.
Yeah.
It was like something from straight out of the 70s, actually.
Yeah.
And we were in 2 separate rooms. So you used to come to my room on a night time, get on the single bed and watch this dodgy old TV.
We could only get 2 channels.
Yeah.
One of which was ITV2.
Yeah.
And we used to watch Love Island.
Yes, and it was the first time we'd ever watched Love Island, because we'd always said, we're not going to watch that rubbish, Love Island, no, it's not for us. But we needed something totally different. And I said to you, didn't I, one night, oh, should we just watch it? Because we were awake all night anyway.
I think you watched the first one without me.
That's about right.
Yeah, and then said, oh, it's so good, you need to... you need to come, you need to watch this.
You need to come to my room on a night time and watch it. Because it was escapism. It was massive escapism. And we continued to watch it all the way through the summer. And do you remember, even when we were at home, I remember us sitting in our living room I was expressing at the time, getting the old breast pump out, and you sort of like sit and watch it, and we would sit and watch, like, because we were about to we always ring the hospital on the night time to check how Blake was at that point in time. So it just really took me back. I can remember all the times of us watching and being totally overwhelmed by Michael not coupling up with his previous partner, who's actually from round here. She's from the Newcastle area, and she was a winner in the end. This shows just how much my memory has gone, because I cannot remember what her name was.
Amber Rose.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna say this wasn't the most shocking thing that happened on that episode of Love Island.
Oh, are you going to talk about?
I think Amy and Curtis and the thing there was far more interesting and far more must-see TV than Michael recoupling. But
wasn't it interesting that Ian Sterling came on and did a little bit to camera, with his sort of microphone, and showing you how he records things, and saying the producers were texting him at the time going, "You will not believe." So I quite like that behind the scenes, because you kind of sometimes feel it is a constructed reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they do get prompts from, we know that, we get prompts from the producer, and certain events are constructed. But it's nice to know that there are times where the contestants on Love Island do actually take them by surprise.
Yes.
So yeah, I would quite like that little peek behind the curtain that Ian Sterling gave us.
I'm just going through the islands.
Ed, what are you doing? You are actually looking at all the islanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So
that segues on.
Yes, it does.
Because when we were watching the clip of Love Island, obviously featured prominently was
Caroline Flack.
Thank you. Who also appeared in the In Memoriam feature.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's the first time it's kind of hit home with me just how tragic that was. Obviously, at the time it was, oh my God, you'll never guess what's happened.
Yeah.
But just seeing her on the screen and then realising, just seeing her performing.
Yeah.
And then being reminded just a few minutes later of the tragic circumstances, that really, really hit home at that point. And
before we sort of put the podcast on, before we started recording, we did say we weren't going to talk about the In Memoriam section because it's very sad and that it's people that we don't know. But we wanted to say that when Caroline Flack came up in that In Memoriam section, it was very affecting. And, really, really, like you say, hit home just what a tragedy that entire event was. And such a young woman who, had a brilliant career already and I'm sure would have absolutely thrived with the right support. We said we really felt like we wanted to mention that because it was something that really affected both of us when we watched the show. Absolutely. We haven't said, this is an awful segue back, but we haven't said who won the must-see moments after that, after saying all of that.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, it was Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah. But James Corden in LA on Zoom with a lot of lag. It didn't really work.
No.
We were trying to talk to him and he was answering 5 seconds later.
And Ruth Jones doing a lot of the thanking of people, which it was fine. I would have gone for Love Island. That would have been mine.
I would have gone for a different thing from Love Island.
Well, what would you...
Right,
okay. I thought you said a different thing, but yeah, you just would go for Love Island, but just a different thing.
Yeah. I can still see Amy squaring up to him and... I came back to say I loved you.
Just go. You could go on Love Island, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't. No.
I couldn't. No.
Couldn't,
I mean, I wouldn't last long.
No. So that's the end of the sort of nominations and awards. Just a quick roundup. How did you feel the whole show? Because having said that you don't like award shows, what did you feel about this?
It ticked by. I still don't care about people. I care even less with people on Zoom accepting awards than I do seeing them on stage accepting awards. I thought Richard Ayoade kept it going well. I thought he was the best thing on it by a long, long way. I think people making jokes and then looking at the camera as if to wait for an applause or a titter of laughter, it's never not going to be awkward. And I would not watch this again next year if that's the case. I've got one more thing that I need to bring up.
Okay, go on.
At the end, where they've got all the... and here's the other awards that we didn't have time for.
Yeah.
Best sports presentation.
Right.
How the hell did the 2019 Rugby World Cup final beat the Cricket World Cup final?
You're asking the wrong person, love.
I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
The Cricket World Cup final is one of the greatest pieces of sport ever. And a Rugby World Cup final that was slow, England, one team didn't turn up at all, and South Africa ground out a win.
But can I play devil's advocate? Isn't this the presentation of that sport? So aren't they saying it's the commentary and the production around that event that is winning, rather than the event itself? Because I know what you're talking about. You're going to talk about Ben Stokes and the whole glasses thing. Have I got that right?
Different Ben Stokes miracle.
Oh, really?
That
is
day.
it? Okay.
But yeah. This is the Super Over.
The Super Over.
Yeah.
Oh no! Please don't go into.
You watched it.
I did, but it's not the one where he's running up and down with the fella wearing the glasses?
No, that was a different Ben Stokes miracle performance of the summer of Ben Stokes. Jack Leach, I think. Yeah. No, this is Jofra Archer bowling the super over. Ben Stokes barely being able to move and hobbling out.
Right.
Talking of commentary, this is England has won the World Cup by the barest of margins. That is the thing that people still say now.
Okay.
No one says anything from the World Cup final anymore.
Okay.
I forgot we'd got to a World Cup final.
So you just want to register your discontent?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's one of the most disgraceful decisions in BAFTA history.
We'll report that back to BAFTA. Are you going to write in on points of view?
No, after watching this, because we watched this after, we didn't watch this on the night, we watched it the morning after. I just typed in rugby and cricket into Twitter and just sat back and went, yes, I'm not alone in this.
Well, let's end on that note of our BAFTA commentary. Well, thanks everyone for sticking with us this far.
When are we going to get this out? No one's still with us.
Yeah.
We could say anything. We could slander anyone we want.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Right, quick, let's go before Mark starts slandering.
And we'll have a proper show out later this week.
Yeah. See you soon.
Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
Is this what you asked for?
No, of course not. He's just a bastard.
Right, fuck it.
What?
Come on.
No, it's all right.
Come on.
Oh, slow down.
Hey,
No.
Anthony.
No. That is exactly what she asked for.
No, it's not. We want compensation.
Claire?
I've got 2 important meetings and I look like a pencil.
No. Don't blame me for your bad choices. Hair isn't everything.
Wow.
What?
Hair is everything. We wish it wasn't, so we can actually think about something else occasionally, but it is. It's the difference between a good day and a bad day. We're meant to think that it's a symbol of power, that it's a symbol of fertility. Some people are exploited for it and it pays your fucking bills. Hair is everything, Anthony.